Howdy, Tech Drover again. Think tech's moving fast? I've seen bad decisions age like milk in a heat wave. Tech is full of sayings that maybe sound smart, but they're actually lazy, misleading. Sometimes they make the person saying them sound stupid. Let's ride through some of the worst offenders. If your company says 3 or more of these, congratulations, you got a drinking game, not a product strategy. So let's start. I know this isn't tech, but it just sounds stupid. You're watching a football game, the sports announcer says he found the end zone. He didn't know where it was. It's in the same place on every field. It's even painted on the field. I mean, come on, get a better phrase. And once one says it, it spreads and they all start saying it. We're the fastest growing company. Well, yeah, that sounds great. But if you think about it, you got one customer and you get two, you're growing on 100%. You got 100 customers and you get 10 more, you're growing at 10%. Which one do you want to be? Yeah, stop hiding small numbers, trying to sound grandiose. Leaving money on the table. This is a good one. You usually hear it from the sales guys. The translation, they could have fleeced the customer out of more money if they just had something else. You know, they left money on the table. What are they trying to do? Make themselves look like a rainmaker so they can get a better gig somewhere else? How about building a long-term relationship with your customer? You know, that's going to give you more revenue. You want recurring revenue from a customer. You don't want to bleed them dry in one sitting. Scalable mobile apps. Be real. Mobile apps scale by being on everybody's phone. The app doesn't care if it's one phone or 50,000. The app is not scalable. Using an app is scalable, but you got to have the back end. That's where your scaling comes in. You know, the more customers you add, the more capacity you might have to add in the back end. You got to monitor, make sure it's supporting your user base. So quit talking about scalable mobile apps. If it's the end-to-end solution you're talking about, use the right terms. Okay, this isn't really a phrasing. This is just something you see on job sites. Why do I got to create an account just to submit a resume? You know, I started using the same password for all those. I can't really say what it is. It might violate the video criteria. I don't know how many logins I've got trying to submit resumes over years. I don't even know the passwords. So why? Just let me send in a resume. The next one, an abundance of caution. Yes, you need caution. You got to understand the risks, what you're doing. You know, what are the trade-offs? What you're going to do if the risk pops up, but an abundance of caution. What are you trying to do? Avoid a lawsuit? Well, we took every precaution we could out of an abundance of caution, so it's not our fault that the bad things happen. Come on, let's quit saying that. People think they're doing leadership. Get it done by this date. That's not leadership. That's ego. You know, you might get something. It ain't going to be the best. You're going to have to redo it. So work with your team. Get good estimates. Don't just give dictatorial deadlines. We're remaking healthcare. Boy, it's another one. Sounds great. How are you going to fight all the laws and healthcare monopolies and everything doctors have to go through to comply with this stuff? How are you going to remake that? You know, you're a startup. Maybe you can find a way to fit into it, but you're not going to change the world. So quit with these grandiose phrases. We move fast. Really? Every team I've worked with that said we're fast moving, you know, they were slower than anything. I sat around bored. Other team members spent weeks talking about how to implement a feature, but nothing actually got done. Come on. If you're going to be fast, build it. If it doesn't work, change it. If you need to integrate it with something else and it's not quite right, fix it, but keep moving. Elegant solutions. God, I hate that one. Nobody cares about your code. Nobody cares how elegant your solution is, what technology they use. Your customers just care if it works and it provides value. You know, get off the high horse. To me, it sounds like people saying, we're going to do something cool to up my resume so I can get a better job than this. Come on, just build something that works. You see this all the time on LinkedIn. You know, I'm on it too. Feel free to send me a request to connect. But these people, they throw out this advice. You know, you don't know who they are, what their background is, and maybe it works in some situations, not all. Some of the worst ones, stop being open to any job. Yeah, that's a good one. I'll just tell, my mortgage company, my landlord, hey, I can't pay it right now until I find the business that's going to fulfill my soul's purpose. They don't care. They want their money. Sometimes you got to go for a paycheck. Don't ignore the telltale signs of a bad boss during interviews. Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious. Everybody should be doing that. You really have to tell people to do that? How dumb do you think people are when you're making those statements? Stop taking on extra tasks and expecting a promotion. You're going to do? Sit back and coast and hope you don't get laid off in the next downturn? I mean, you got to pick up work. You got to provide value to the company. That's how you get promotion. Don't offer to empty the trash cans if you're an engineer or developer, but provide value to your company. That means taking on extra tasks, but it means making sure what you're doing fits in with the business plans. You're following the assignments that are going to get you there. Stop barking orders. This retired Army general turned CEO reveals the real secret to leadership. Okay, I have a lot of respect for the military. They keep us safe. They're great people. But what works in the military doesn't necessarily work in the corporate world, especially in startups. You can't walk into a startup team of engineers or developers and start barking orders. They're going to resent it. They're going to bail out as soon as they can. Again, make it a team effort. Talked about that in another video, but make it a team effort to focus on what you're trying to do. So next time you're scrolling on LinkedIn and you see some of these things, think about what it really means. Is the person saying it actually have a point? Are they just assuming you're stupid and giving you advice everybody knows? And think, what makes them experts? Recruiters telling you some of this, they just want to, get a resume, get you position. Maybe it fits you, maybe it doesn't, as long as they get their commission, right? So recommendations, stop trying to sound cool and pompous. Be truthful, be honest. Stop trying to make it sound pretentious and make it sound cool. Just focus on results. Like the movie said, I've worked in the real world. They expect results. Drop the pretense. Be clear and accurate. Don't throw around buzzwords trying to make yourself sound smart. Just tell people what's going on. Leave the puffery to sales and marketing. Doesn't belong in tech. And if your company is using too many of these phrases, you don't got a strategy. You got a bingo card, so figure it out. So until next time, thanks for riding along. If you got ideas, suggestions, comments, need some help, hit me up. Through techdrover.com, through comments on this, just let me know. Next up, why experience matters.